me get John into it. Okay, let's just wait 1 second. You guys coming in? You coming in? No? Yeah, seats over here in the back.
Oh, Mark, could you friend?
You go on the front there. Got some you guys can sit up front over here. All right, you sit right over there. Little guys up front. Little guys up front. Little guys up front. Oh, right there. One way around. Little guys up front. Here comes the real star of the show.
Hello, Brody. Hello, Brody. Ellie Belly. Ellie. Show us Santa.
Little guys up front. You go around the side. All right. Come back to us, Liam. All right, thank you all. If I can have your attention.
Liam.
If I can have your attention. Thank you all for coming. Why don't you guys back up a little so everybody, let's move back. Actually, move back so everybody can.
Rosemary.
There you go. Girls, move back there, please, so they can see you over there. There you go. All right. Thank you all very much for coming. As you can imagine, these very talented performers are very excited to meet you. You're going to have an opportunity to ask them any questions you'd like to ask them. Young people and adults. They are represent a lot of different age groups. How many are third graders here? Raise your hand. So we have 4 third graders. How many fourth graders? How many fifth graders? How many sixth graders? How many seventh graders?
Oh yeah, Julia, look so.
And how many eighth graders? All right, so we got a whole range of age groups. And how many of you are doing your first show here at Broadway Theater Workshops? Raise your hand. So that many first timers. You guys can slide around that way. There's room on there. All right. So if you have any general questions you'd like to ask them, raise your hand. If it's for a specific character, you can ask them that also. Who'd like to would like to open up to questions? Who would like to begin? Yes.
Is there anything in her necklace?
Who do you want to talk to?
Annie, is there
Ask her.
anything in her necklace? There's nothing in this. It can't even open, really.
So how many necklaces do we have during the show?
We have 3 different necklaces.
So there's a lot of things to coordinate because there's the necklace that the parents have, the necklace that Warbucks buys her, the one she has. So there's 3 different necklaces that we use throughout the show. That's a good question. Yes?
Warbucks, is the bald cap itchy and uncomfortable?
It's not really uncomfortable, but it can get like really itchy at some time,
Step forward, John, so we could all see you, okay? Now, I gave John, there's 2 Warbucks. This is the other Warbucks in the other cast. And I gave both of them an option. I said, you know, instead of a skull cap, this will be a lot easier if you shave your heads.
Was it easier?
They were not excited about it. They were not excited. But they wore the skull caps. You know what a challenge it is for an 8th grader and a 7th grader to play a bald old man. But I think they both did a tremendous job doing it, didn't they? Another question, yes?
John, how long did it take the bald cap to go on?
I had to come like 30 minutes before everyone else did, so it took like maybe total an hour, because she has to do other people also, and I have to like let it dry and walk around. So total maybe like an hour. Yeah.
An hour just to get that on to look good. It's a price he pays for being a star. Another question.
No.
That's pretty funny. Yes.
So you rehearsed 7 weeks, did you say?
Yeah, so how long, you guys, when did we rehearse? How long did it take? Would you like to answer that, Andy? Why don't you step forward?
We would be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when you were called from 4 to 6.
So when they were called, they weren't all called every day. As you can imagine, Andy, who was in almost every scene, was called more often. But we Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6, for 7 weeks. We never rehearsed on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And to be honest with you, they were incredibly dedicated and learned their lines very, very quickly. They were only allowed to use their script once, the day we blocked. And then after that, they were off script. But they had the songs memorized, the lines memorized. They rarely came unprepared. And for young actors to be that prepared and dedicated is really remarkable. And that's why that's the level of show you got to see. This is the director of the show, Frank Graziano. Why don't you say a few words, Frank, about working with these kids?
Well, you know, it always amazes me because when we come together and we form a company and a group, it's double cast, so what really is happening is you're directing 2 shows at the same time. And different personalities, so what happens is you really can't make a carbon copy of both shows. You really have to look at who each character is and what their strengths are and grow on that. But I have to say, in this cast in particular, I was talking to John, was telling them, I forgot sometimes that they were so young, because they were really, they acted very professional in their attitude. That's what professional is an attitude. So, you know, they would come in and they were always ready, and they really enjoyed each other very much, and it made it actually a joy to come in and work with them every day. So, you know, John was saying the other day, don't ever, you know, the saying, W.C. Fields used to say, don't work with kids, don't work with animals, but this is the exception. This is the exception. So, I give them a round of applause. John, because he's the one who brings it all together, you know. He's the man on top, and you know, sometimes he doesn't get that round of applause being on top. So he's the brain that makes it all happen. It's not easy to coordinate all of this and to bring it all together. So he knows how to do it. He does it very well.
One of the things that I always say to production staff that's, you know, we can't lose touch with is that we're helping create memories for the rest of their lives. For not only the children, but I know for the parents, what a lovely memory this is. And that's a wonderful thing about theater. That theater gives a bunch of kids who didn't know each other, many of them didn't know each other before, they become friends, they become family, they support each other. To see the people who are double casted, helping the people when they're on their role, getting their costumes for them. It's just a great lesson on learning to work as a team, to collaborate. And we say theater skills are skills for life. And if there's any children here who have not been part of theater, I hope someday you can do that, whether it's part of Broadway Theater Workshop or someplace else, because it really is a great learning opportunity. And we never lose touch with that they still are learning, and they really have learned a lot. So, another question, yes?
Yeah, Sandy had trained the show.
Sandy, where is Sandy?
Sandy's name is Brody.
Brody.
This is Rhodey, and
Brody. Oh my God, I keep doing that. Brody.
so why don't we talk a little about, he is a wonderfully disciplined, trained dog who is how old?
He's almost 12.
Almost 12. Now, the beauty of being almost 12 is that he's not really hyper. The negative of being almost 12 is that when we had 2 shows, we had to wake him up. He took big naps in between his scenes. It's a lot of work for this guy. But he was so easy to work with. And it was kind of interesting because Christina and Kylie were the 2 Annies. Kylie had a dog at home. Kylie had worked in professional there's Kylie, our other Annie. Kylie had worked with dogs before, And so she was very comfortable. Christina never had a dog, and this was a whole new experience. But I think she might be asking Mom and Dad for one too.
Rhodey is a therapy dog, actually. Yeah.
And that's part of what makes him so easy to work with. I always have a gender problem with dogs. That makes him so easy to work with. But that's a good question about Rhodey. All right, any other questions? Yes?
For Pepper, what was your favorite part of being an orphan?
Pepper, why don't you step forward, Pepper? What is your favorite part of being an orphan? Nice and loud.
I got to scream.
Some of the other orphans, what was your favorite part of being an orphan?
Hard Knock Life.
Hard Knock Life. Yeah, every little girl loves to do Hard Knock Life. Yes, what's your favorite part?
Laundry bag.
Throwing in the laundry bag. That was a lot of timing. Yeah, we got that right. Yes?
I like never fully dressed when I got to do the fight with Pepper in the beginning.
Oh yeah, you like that? All right, cool. Yes.
I'm driving Miss Hannigan crazy.
Ah. And without getting in really trouble, you can drive her crazy. Yes, Kendra, what was yours?
Chasing Eliana and
You like chasing her? Okay.
giving Miss Hannigan a big hug during Little Girls.
Oh, squeezing her. Okay, so a lot of good favorite memories. Okay. Yeah, Julie.
Party popper in her face.
Oh, you like that with the pillow they puked on, huh? Very nice. All right, other questions? Yes?
How many servants did he have?
How many servants? Well, that's a good question. Why don't we step back a little, everybody? We keep creeping up towards the audience. That was an interesting thing with the servants. Here we got some of our servants here. So the servants were the bums in Hooverville with their servant costumes on, right? And then they put their coats and hats and made them look like they were bums. And then after Hooverville, they went out and took off their coats and they had their servant costumes on. And then for NYC, those are the same people who went in the hallway and got dressed up in NYC. So we had 3 quick costume changes for young performers, one after another, which was not easy to coordinate. To say that the first couple of times it was a disaster would be an understatement. So we actually had separate rehearsals just to do the coat changing. But we worked it out. We found out where we have to keep the coats. Costume changes are always a challenge. Annie, tell me about your costume change when you have to run off and come back.
For NYC, he carries me off stage, and then I have to take off my coat, my dress, my orphan dress, my shoes, and my hair.
So that's
I take off my hair.
It's a whole separate wig she puts on the second time, and that's got to be done within about 2 minutes. But there's a team of people standing backstage. When she walks off there, people are taking her, fixing her, and she goes right back on like nothing ever happened. Like it never happened.
Also, all the people have to be put into makeup and the coordination of the costumes. You can imagine with a cast like this. So really give it up for Thomas.
This is our costume designer, Thomas.
Our makeup.
I just mentioned that one of the dress changes that she has, that Annie has, remember when she comes back in that pretty little dress? I love it here. I know I'm going to like it here. That's all Velcroed in the back so that she could put it on like that.
And the first time she put it on, we didn't have Velcro, and that was a disaster. And so, okay, let's cut that dress up and put Velcro. So things you learn in rehearsals. Another question. Rosemary?
Yeah. What is it like being one of like few boys in a show?
Okay, so we're gonna ask the girls to take a step back and have the boys step forward. Okay, so Leah, why don't you talk first? What is it like to be one of the few boys in the cast?
Well, you really get to know all the boys a lot better. Like, I know everyone here, and a lot of girls are great anywhere, because, like, there's one boy to every, like, 6 or 7 girls.
Someday they'll realize what great odds that is. I don't think they fully appreciate it yet. But.
Good question.
I mean, we really get to know each other very well. We start to become a family because, like, I mean, most of you little ones here had nothing in school, but, like, the 5 of us share a classroom as a dressing room, and we're in there all the time, and we kind of get to know each other, just being in that room.
They get to bond, which is really cool.
And it's not the best when you guys are having fun and then your sacred territory gets ambushed. Bombarded. So sometimes you have to spray a little bit more cologne to get out.
One of the girls came by and said, "Why does it smell like so much cologne in there?"
And a lot of costume changes. Oh yeah, each of us got like 4 characters.
It's kind of interesting. We have, it's youth theater, and having boys involved in youth theater is challenging. And in this particular place, in this particular program, when we do our junior theater camp, we have about 11 boys and about 40 girls. So that's a little better ratio. When we do our senior theater camp, grades 7 through 12, we have 40 boys and 50 girls. So it really gets a lot more even. Here at St. Joe's, where Frank and I and the whole team works, and their school plays, we get 40, 50 boys going out for the school musical. So that ratio doesn't always stay, but we are looking for young male talent for next fall's Gramercy School show. So I see a lot of potential stars here that we could love to put in our show. Another question? Yes?
I have a question for Talia. What was your favorite scene in the play?
Probably I think I'm gonna like it here.
Okay. Yeah, you guys keep creeping forward on me.
There's another question.
Another question? Yes, hon? All right. We'll come back to you if you remember it. Okay. Yes, what?
How is it like to change costumes?
What is it like? Is it frantic or is it easy? Or what is it like to change costumes? Yeah, my hair. This guy, now how many roles do you think this guy plays in the show?
Like 5.
You might have seen him keep how many roles do you play in the show? 6 different roles. He was a police officer. Yeah, tell me everything your roles.
Okay, so I'm a police officer, then servant, then NYC, then Bert Healy, then Lewis that pushes Roosevelt, and I'm forgetting someone.
Bert Hilly.
Hooverville.
He's the police officer. So he has a number of changes that he's, and to say that he's lost a few ties in the process would be an understatement. He's Thomasine is a big challenge, where these ties keep disappearing, but he's a lot of quick changes. And it's kind of nice, he gets to play a lot of different roles. Question here?
How do the parents that don't really take care of Granny know that the boys can come tonight?
Well, you know what? That's a great story question. The question was, how did those parents that would make believe they were Annie's parents, how did they know that her birthday really was that day? Anybody want to take a guess? We'll let this woman, because I think she had something to do with it. How would they have known?
So because they were my brother and his girlfriend, I kind of got in on the whole scheme, and I told them all the information they needed.
Because she ran the orphanage, so she knew when her birthday was, so she told them. But that's a great question. I can make you a star if you come to our class.
Good job, Albert.
Another question? You had one question already. Yes.
Why is everybody so energetic throughout the whole time? How do they keep up with it?
Let's back up. Everyone's creeping forward again. Creeping forward. How do you keep your energy up during the show? Pepper.
Sugar.
Sugar. It wasn't what I was hoping she'd say.
Cold water.
Got to keep hydrating.
And like jumping up and down. And like running in the halls.
Honestly, we have to worry about the opposite. They are so excited to be here that we have to sort of rein them back in a little. And this is the first show we've ever done this. We actually had a quiet room for some of our younger guys because the older kids were revving them up. And we had to separate them and get them in a little room to quiet them down. Because it's good to have that excitement, but if it's too much excitement, then they're not under control and it gets a little crazy. All right, any other questions? Yes.
What kind of temperatures on with all the lights and everything on the stage? Is it very hot?
How hot is it on stage?
Oh my God. During NYC, it's like 90 degrees.
9,000.
Yes. It is very hot on stage.
It's a real challenge for a performer because not only is it hot on stage, and some of them are wearing wigs. so that heat isn't leaving them. It's very, very hot, you know, so they really need to keep drinking water throughout the show. Now, sometimes people sit in the audience and go, it's so cold in here, turn the air conditioning off. And they're on stage, go, we're dying on stage. And it's tough to find a balance, but the lights make it very hot. That's a good question. Yes, back there.
Are there any other shows this year?
Are there any other shows? Wow, that's if I can pay that girl for that question. I'm so glad you asked. We have a number of shows. We have a number of shows coming up. The whole production team works with the students of St. Joe's and girls from all over. And our school musical this year is You're in Town, and that's the last 2 weeks of January. So St. Joe's always does a musical and a drama, and the drama will be in April. But the musical is the next one that's coming up. And a lot of the people in the St. Joe's production got their starts in the Broadway Theater production. So that's kind of neat to see. You know, we've got two of the stars of the St. Joe's show right here. Yeah. Okay, so these two guys are stars of the, but when they were younger, they were in the Broadway Theater Workshop show. Now, Emma, when did you come to us?
I was in 7th grade.
7th grade, she came to us for Grease?
Yeah, Grease.
And then Into the Woods?
Into the Woods.
Yep, and then Rosie came to us as she was leaving 8th grade in Legally Blonde.
Yep.
So they got their starts on the Broadway Theater Workshop stage and then jumped to the St. Joe's stage. So we keep moving along. And then a lot of our kids now, some have gone on to do professional work. I'm sure you saw that poster and the ad in the program. But more importantly, all the kids who go through theater, you know, we say theater skills are skills for life. Not all of them become Broadway performers, but they become better teachers, they become more articulate lawyers, they become more sensitive doctors. They learn so many things through theater. And that's one of the great things. So that's why we encourage parents to have their children involved in theater. You had a question here? Okay, yes.
Are there any people that are in this play that are in a different play?
All right, any of these people, well, how many, let's back up again. How many of you are, excuse me, sir? Just ask him to step back. Thank you. Unless you want to be part of production next year. Okay, how many of you guys are in your own school's plays? Your grammar school. So a lot of them will be in their own different school plays. And then hopefully a lot of them will come back next year, because only for the 8th graders they can all come back and be in next year's play. Yes, you have a question? Where do you get all the clothes? Is Thomasina still here? Okay, I'll answer it for her. Okay.
Where do you get all the costumes? Where do you get all the costumes?
Oh, golly. John knows. I've got that, you know that special wardrobe they talk about? You go in it, and I've got them in the attic, I've got them in the basement, I store a lot here. But it all started...
Now, how long have you been costuming?
53 years.
53 years. Do the math. She's in her 70s. Would you believe that?
And she's only 18.
But you know, it started, a lot of people also have given us costumes, and that's really nice. And also, I've been the same size, but I kept everything since I was 10. And so,
so a lot of times, children are wearing things that she wore.
This is my suit. I mean, when I take them down, right back on me.
So some of our clothes get recycled up here. All right, yes?
Is it hard to learn 2 parts?
Oh, that's a great question. Who wants to answer that? Is it hard to learn 2 parts? And let's yeah, go on, Judy.
Well, I, for example, Lily St. Regis from New Jersey. When I'm not Lily St. Regis, I am Star to Be NYC, in addition to one of the Hooverville people and a servant. And again, the costume change is difficult, but thankfully we have wonderful counterparts. For example, mine is Yemi Wu. You saw her today. Over here. And we cooperate and we collaborate, and everything just works out perfectly. We compare notes, and really we can't do it without each other. It is difficult at times, but if you miss a rehearsal, if you are unclear of something, you know somebody has your back, always. And
Great answer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
Is it hard to remember your parts, or is it easy to remember your lines? Like,
It's kind of hard, like what Lily said. Like, this is my counterpart, so like.
So these guys are counterparts. He's Rooster when he's not Drake, and he's Drake when he's not Rooster. So they share those roles.
So like sometimes with your counterpart, you can read over lines together, especially before an SAD, which I think are sad.
It's sad. It's basically
Anyway,
a rehearsal when you're
yeah.
singing, dancing, and acting.
And like you sort of look over your lines with each other, and like you practice them, and the other person will be all the other characters will like in the first scene when he comes on, I would be like Hannigan and Lily, so he can do his lines and still have know when his cue are.
Yeah, like during rehearsals, when we're both not on stage.
Nice and loud.
And then we'd literally be backstage together with our scripts practicing. So,
I mean, a lot of mature responsibility for young children to learn, but they embrace it and they see the results of it. So it's something your parents should be proud of. I know you say you'd love to see them do that much memorization on schoolwork, but it's something they love like this. They just really go for it, and they really handle it very maturely. All right, one more question, then we're going to take some pictures. Yes? You guys get, okay, everybody step back. You haven't spoken yet. Do you get nervous before a show?
Usually I don't get nervous because that's a word that's not in my vocabulary. The only word is excited. You're only excited for a show and you never get nervous if you're going to psych yourself out.
All right. Anybody else? Annie, do you get nervous?
No.
How many shows have you done before this one?
One.
You only done one other show, please. I mean, is that incredible? To have a role that significant and that many lines and songs to carry, she's only had one other show.
and did you like working with the dog?
I loved working with the dog.
But how nervous were you? Were you nervous?
No.
Actually,
0%.
actually, I saw her. Where's her mom? Is her mom in here?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, no, it's okay. I saw her mother before the her opening night last night, and her mother, I said, don't worry, she's a lot less nervous than you are right now, because Mom was a nervous wreck, and I told Christina, I said, are you nervous? She goes, no. She goes, my mother gets nervous for me. So her mother took all the nervousness away from her. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you guys to sort of spread out. And if anybody'd like to come up and get an autograph, have their picture taken, thank you all very much.